Welcome back, Cockriser, the show. I'm Jamie Jones,
I'm Monique Jones.
and this is season 1, episode 19, on our way to our first season of 21. And then that's when we start season 2. Kind of like what's going to happen with Paradise. Paradise is coming back in February. February 26th, probably one of the best 3 or 4 shows all of this year, right up there with The Jackal and some other things. I can't wait for Paradise. The trailer just dropped yesterday.
It is good.
My man is stuck in a plane in a tree, falls down, breaks his leg, and there's all kind of stuff going on when he's trying to find his wife. I hope that they can uphold what they did the first season.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be
That's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be
It's
hard.
gonna be hard.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be hard.
It is.
Because it's surprisingly good. Did somebody tell us to watch that? Or did we watch it?
Lance did.
Our son told us to watch that. Often that doesn't mean it's going to be good. But
Well,
this time
we know that Jamie only will investigate and watch what he's
I
interested
mean,
in. So let's all know that if he's not interested in it, we're not watching it.
Well, that doesn't mean we're not watching it. That just means
No, that means we're not watching it.
Well,
together.
then you shouldn't let yourself be walked over like that.
No, that's why I go into the other room and then you say to me, "Oh, you're leaving me? You're gonna go into the other room by yourself and leave me here?"
All right.
That's what you do.
Before we get into her relationship issues, not mine, let me tell you what Paradise is about. The Secret Service agent investigates the murder of the former president. That's season 1. And in seemingly a peaceful community. I don't even think they figured out who murdered the president.
The president. I don't think so either.
He's investigating this murder. It's in this. That's a bad. I'm reading this. That's a bad definition because they go underground. There's a dome. They thought there was a nuclear war. All this other stuff, and it is all of that. Sterling K. Brown, great.
Yeah, great actor.
I don't know if we still call him a young actor, but I guess he's. I don't even know he's middle aged, but he's somewhere in between there, right?
He's middle aged.
Great actor. So is James Marsden, who plays the president. Who, of course, all the key players are back. And I can't wait. February 26th, streams with 3 shows, and then they'll do a show weekly after that. I am the only other show that I am more excited to see, if not as excited to see, is
Jackal,
season 2.
Jackal?
The Jackal. What were you going to think?
Okay, did you say the show? I'm sorry. All right, not the show.
I said a show.
Devil Wears Prada.
Season 2. The Devil Wears Prada is the most anticipated movie for me since Batman.
Yeah.
The Batman, that is.
Yeah, we know.
Because I watched The Devil Wears the Prada again. It's one of those movies. It's like Dark Knight. There's one James Bond movie that I always watch again with Daniel Craig that I'll watch if it's always on. I forget which one it is.
Oh.
Spectre is definitely one of them. Spectre, but there's another one that I'll watch all the time too. But great movie. Great movie. As well as another show I'll watch no matter what is House of Cards. House of Cards.
God, I'm like, I walk in and
House
of
Cards is happening every day.
How many freaking times can you watch?
Because you can. It's just like Entourage. You can watch Entourage and you go, wow, that happened. I thought that happened earlier. I thought it happened later. That's the problem. It's like everything kind of blends into everything. And House of Cards.
That's not true. That's because you fell asleep.
The thing about House of Cards is the things. See, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see how she talks about me. I don't talk about her like that. But that's how that's what women do. Women hurt you with words because they know they can't physically hurt you. So then they come after you.
How is that hurting you? Maybe that's not hurting you. That's being truthful.
Maybe that's another subject for another day. But what I was saying,
whatever,
about House of Cards is, they did your boy wrong in House of Cards because they never should have kicked him off the show because they thought he was abusing homosexual. Thought he was abusing Kevin Spacey because Kevin Spacey back in the day was like the man. I mean, Oscar award winner, uh,
Mhm.
The Usual Suspects, all these other movies. He was the. I mean, he was the man. I
Mhm.
mean, talking about the man. I mean, he was right up there as one of the top movie stars ever. They took him down unceremoniously or ceremoniously, call it what you want. Never should have been. Never should have been there. So they had to scramble. For those of you who don't know the history, that last season because it was happening when they were filming. So they killed him off,
Mhm.
and then instead of doing 12 or 13 shows, they only did 6. People thought we got short it kind of got short. We got shortcommed, or whatever the word is when you get stiffed on how many shows you should get. But if you go back and watch the last season, season 6, what Robin Wright did in those 6 shows, how good she was, and how good it still was, I'm mad because they still had a good 2 or 3 seasons in them if Kevin Spacey would have still been on the show. And
Yeah.
it's a daggone shame because he didn't get convicted of anything.
I know, that's
Lost his
crazy.
house, lost his career trying to get it back. And I would say it's reminiscent of P. Diddy, but not quite. Because we watched, but before we get to P. Diddy, House of Cards is a classic. But I always advise people to watch the original House of Cards. It was done back in the 70s. And it was
I
a
don't
UK
suggest.
show. And it's a UK show, so you can get why they're doing what they're doing and then how they built on that. But that's it, that last season. Those 6 shows, underrated. How good they are. They age well like a fine wine. They didn't feel right at the time because they felt like it was rushed together because of everything that was going on around it.
Mhm.
But it has aged like a good Bordeaux, ready to drink whenever you're ready to watch. So fun around and find out, as we
Fun
say.
around.
Fun
Fun
around and
around.
find
Fun.
out. All right.
Well,
And
fun around and find out. So, on that note, I'm going to say this. There is a project which I think is fun. It's called Paw Control. And it's a project where you go into this space and there's a whole bunch of
Paul,
people waiting. Huh?
PAW,
Paw. Like paw.
PAW.
Like a paw, like an animal
Because
paw.
if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, so you're watching the show for the first time or listening to the podcast for the first time, although we're married and we talk every day and we work together, we don't know what each other are going to talk about on this podcast on purpose. It's
Mhm.
on purpose to try to keep a certain, not only randomness, but a spontaneous kind of topics that go on here. So I don't know what the hell this is.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you. So it's a
All
project. It is
control.
called Paw Control.
Is this
So
dogs?
base so basically you go into just say an animal shelter, with a dog shelter, right? And you have a whole bunch of people that are sitting around and the dog chooses its family. So everybody's sitting in the room that is wanting to adopt a dog, and basically you have to sit there and you wait for the dog to come up to whoever is going to be his potential owner. Now, I think that, you know, I was reading on it and I was like looking at it and I'm like, okay, so what if I don't want a big dog and a big dog comes up to me? I think you have to be open-minded on to what dog comes up to you. Yeah, but the
Okay.
dog picks its owner.
Can
You
I
don't
just
pick
ask,
the
where are we going with this? So you're telling us about
I'm
this
just
thing.
I'm where are we
So
going with it? I'm just saying it's a new project. The
the
dog
dog
picks the
picks the
owner.
owner.
Yes.
So
So
if you smell like a dog biscuit, the dog's gonna come up to you. So you got to
I
watch that.
I
So come in
I
smelling
mean, I'm
clean.
gonna. It's a clip on social media that I saw, and I was reading on the project that they're doing, and I was like, wow. I'm like, I mean, it's like this guy in the military. He's sitting there, and everybody, you could see everybody in the room, and this Saint Bernard walks up to this guy in the military, and he's just sitting there calmly, but the dog comes up, and he instantly just is so excited that this dog chose him. He didn't go up to anybody else. He came straight to him. Now, some of the dogs may go around and sniff, but they're not stopping and sitting and engaging in the person that they choose. So I thought it was a great project. I think it's great that, people are open minded to seeing what dogs will really, take to them maybe and not just going and picking a dog because of how it looks and saying, "Oh, that's the
No,
dog I want," and maybe they don't have a good
look.
relationship.
I
So,
think that's great. You think you may be a big dog person, you end up being a tiny dog person. You think you're a tiny
right.
dog person, and a Great Dane comes up to you. I get it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get it.
So
No,
I just thought it
no,
was
it's
a great
interesting. It's almost like a making of the owner, like making of the band, but the dogs are in control.
right. I mean, I thought it was cute. I was like, "Wow, that's interesting," to say the least. Like, I'm like, "Wow," like, again, don't want a big dog, but a big dog walks up to you, so now
Well,
I'm sure it's an agreement that you have to go with.
I would say watch
Um,
what you smell like when you go in there. Don't come straight from the kitchen. Don't handle any dog food. Don't do anything that's going to attract the dog for no reason other than, oh, you smell good. I'm hungry.
I
That'll be
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, it's a cute little,
And where is this at?
project.
Where is this? What
I
part
don't
of the
know.
country?
I don't know. I got it
You
off of
don't
social
know.
media.
You don't
Got it
know.
off of social media. I
Okay.
thought it
Well,
was
it's
really,
cute.
really good.
It's
But
a
you know
cute.
what? You
Listen.
do want to talk about what part of the country is it at? Is it in?
No, where is it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I
No,
do have
no.
something else about a part of a country that I would like to talk about.
Well, go ahead.
Okay,
You have the
so
floor.
we have gained access to one of the world's most important mining sites in Congo.
Who's
Congo
we?
is
Who's we?
we Americans.
The United
And I don't
States
know if
of
we
America.
actually have full, but we're trying. It's a mining it's a mining um what is it called? It's like it's mining where they're looking for coltan, COLTAN, and it's basically used to power smartphones, AI equipment, and electric cars. The problem is that these mining sites are very dangerous and they have no safety elements or anything for the workers. They're basically working these people
Yeah, it's
like,
Congo, it's the DRC, so they're fueling a
yeah.
violent conflict by doing that, right?
Yes. And then it's basically the M23 is taking over and is fueling war over this product this coltan that they're finding. And
And this
it's
has been
basically
happening
and they're
for a while, right? This has been happening for a while.
I want to say since 2023,
I think even a little bit
maybe earlier
before
than
that.
that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But basically it's, ethical concerns about the human abuse, child laborers, mass killings, and sexual abuse on this whole thing. If you watch this video, you see people go. There's this one guy. He goes into the mine and he's like going down and checking on the people. He's like, "Are you here at your own will?" And of course, they're saying yes because they're scared. They're just. I mean, the space is so narrow, and they're just at digging and I mean, how these people are worked and, and I know they're being forced to do the things that they don't want to do for a little bit of money that they're getting paid, just so that we can have this colton um, to use for, the phone, the smartphones and the cars and stuff like that. And I don't know. When you see these things, it's just like so not humanitarian. Like it's just sad. Like how does this happen? Because now we find this colton in this certain part of the world and now these people are taken advantage of to work, and if they're not working, maybe killed or, being abused, not doing what the work is asked of them.
No, I think it's terrible, but it also brings light to what
Hmm.
I've said many times before is that you can complain about this country all you want, and believe me, we have our issues, but it is still the best place to live in the world. But
Absolutely.
we have our humanitarian issues. Um, we have our social issues as well.
Hmm.
But I don't want to say nothing like that because we've had it before, and I'm sure there are cases because there are. The sad thing about America is that we have all the riches, but we still have poor people. How do
Yes.
you how do you solve that issue in a capitalist society that's a democracy that some will say is or isn't, or getting close to that? And then then if you try to slide your way to the middle, I don't want to say be a moderate because you can't be a moderate on democracy. I mean, moderate talks about your political view, but you can't be a moderator on democracy. And I know what's going on in New York, and and somebody says, "Hey, I'm a socialist." Yeah, I'm not down at all with socialists. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, and of course not communism. I believe in although we are a republic that is
Mm-hmm.
of democracy, we're not a true democracy, and the people just don't decide everything. We of course vote on people to represent us, and we have checks and balances. Um, and those always are there and they ebb and flow. But truly, this is the best place to live in the world, and that's why people try to get here and stay here, and they get here
Yeah.
illegally, which is why we're going through all this with the
Right.
um, illegal immigrants. This just shines light again on why people are always trying to get here because of the working conditions that are there to mine these things. Now, I guarantee you, of course, somebody's making money on that over here.
Oh,
And
of course.
you always got to follow the dollar. It's
Yeah, of
sad.
course.
Um, and then I go and see. It's interesting because how America takes on the policing of the world, and
Mm-hmm.
depending on who's in office, how much that has been. And then you look back and you go, "Hey, we're giving." That's the thing. It's like we're giving billions to the Ukraine. Let's say.
Yeah.
Don't believe that any sovereign country or state should be invaded. It goes back well beyond our years. But yet, are we throwing good money at a bad problem halfway around the world? Whereas after a point in time, just like any other business venture, you go, I paid my fair share in this. This is throwing good money at a bad problem. Either you guys need to pitch in Europe. And I think that's why Trump goes after Europe so much because he's like, you guys have been living on the easy street for a long time, and we've been paying a lot of tab. I mean, those are some of the
Mm.
things I agree with him about. Again, it's not what you're doing; it's how you're doing it.
That's how you're doing it. Mm-hmm.
It's how you're doing it. But yet, it just brings focus back to us. Like, could we be spending that money? Could I? Those billions of dollars. It's like we'll give billions of dollars over there, but if you say, "Hey, give billions of dollars to the poor people over here," it's like, well, wait a minute. We're
Yeah.
we're we're a democracy.
Which
We're
I think is
capitalist. We just
crazy.
don't want to give the money away.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's how and that's why I say a moderate. It's being in the middle. There is it's like both sides. I mean, you have to be a benevolent country if you have a
Mm-hmm.
democracy in your capitalism because capitalism feeds off of people working for you, feeling good about their wages and all these other things, which is why unions came up and then unions started to fall off and they lost a lot of their enrollment because employers started acting better. But now we're starting to see more of a push to the other side. So
Mm-hmm.
it's there's always that tug and pull or give and tug or whatever the saying is to try to figure out what's the right place in the middle because everybody's not going to be happy.
No,
Everybody's not.
of course.
You're
Of
not going
course
to make
not.
you're not going to make everybody happy. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
when we were watching the P Diddy
Mm-hmm.
documentary. One sided, very one sided, of course. And for
Very.
once, let's get off of 50 because 50 ain't even nowhere in sight of this documentary. He is the executive producer with Netflix. I felt like there was a lot of hyperbole around him being involved, and when you watch the docu series or call it what you want, you wouldn't even know he was involved,
Yeah,
which I
no.
thought which I thought was perfect. And really, there were some, people are talking about some of the bombshells. I think that are like, whoa. And maybe it's if you're black, it's different than if you're white, or if if that's what you grew up with, and you were in the hip hop community. But the whole thing around Big not wanting to go to California and wanting to go to London, and then he did it for P because P Diddy wanted him to go there, knowing that his life was going to be in danger, not having any security. That's odd. We always
Yeah.
thought the whole thing with Tupac getting shot in the studio, that's odd. And then we find out that the same type of thing happened again in the last
Mm-hmm.
couple years and
Yeah.
they just walk out and say, hey, change the story,
Yeah.
that's not odd. That is, oh, that's a trend. Just like him beating women is a trend. It's not like that's the first time that it happened. But my problem with a lot of it was the people that they were interviewing were, except for the jurors,
Mm-hmm.
all of them enabled him.
Yeah.
From Andre Harrell, who the late Andre Harrell, rest in peace, and the guy who had 25% of the LLC. And I'm trying to wonder why, if you had these documents, why couldn't you pull them out? So what did you sign, or what did you didn't know and sign, or did he switch it on you? You had to have all this information because you were there. And his mother owned 75% of the company. Puff didn't own anything, but of course he could have been switching some things around. But it's like everybody that they were talking about was somewhat complicit in
Well,
his
and
behavior. And that's what the jury saw too. And I thought the key thing from the jury, one of the jurists, was he wasn't on trial for domestic
what
abuse.
yeah, no. And what about the part where he said he was gonna
Yeah.
um
Oh,
give
that was in the group with him after the female group broke up the female group, then dirty money. And
yeah,
then the young lady was like, I'm in a custody battle. I want my kids. Could you help me out with a lawyer? Could you slide me 5 grand? I'll give it back to you. He goes, no. Now this is a
I don't
billionaire.
have it. I don't
He said,
have
I
it.
don't have it, but he had 9 grand in
Mhm.
his pocket. He
Yes.
said,
In his
I
fanny
don't have
pack.
it. Then he calls
In
her
his
back and
fanny
says,
pack.
hey, I need you to vouch for me. And she did it
And she
later.
did, but that's not what I was talking
It's
about. I was talking about how he promised and was like said he was going to have this big funeral for Big, and he actually
oh
made Big pay for his own funeral. Hold up. And then took some paperwork out. Remember, he said that he replaced it with other paperwork with the mom or something like that, paperwork that needed to be signed, but basically that was coming out of his
well, no, that's
his
what he did. He
dividends.
did this, and that's why his partner left, because he thought that was
Yeah.
wrong. Because
Oh
they were
my
like,
God.
it was this middle of this big contract, and they basically slide
Yeah.
these in because they're not gonna have enough time to read it. And that's what he did to his artists. Like, you got 24 hours to make a decision.
Right. That's
Just like the
for the
lawyer
making the
told
band. Yep.
us, like, basically, you're gonna be famous. You're not gonna be rich and famous. So as long
Right.
as you know that,
Yeah.
as long
Yeah.
as you know
And
that, and that,
how
look,
jealous he
now
was of.
that tactic wasn't anything new to the music industry, quite frankly. They've
Yeah. 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 Of
always screwed
course.
over the artists, probably until the last 10 years. Artists haven't been getting what they should have got, probably until the last 10, maybe 15 years. It started to, with, getting back their, owning their rights and the copyrights and all that stuff. Um, but Death Row did it right. You really
Mm-hmm.
never heard those problems. Well, you heard a few,
No.
but
Yeah. A few of them.
not like
But
Bad Boy, and
no.
not like that neat. I mean, in the way that now it's edited, in the way they played it to make it seem like he always wanted to be the star.
Well, he did.
Everybody,
He thought he was God.
but the problem was they didn't have the other side. I would have liked to
Okay.
seen people who were like on his side for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason they needed to be on his side. And even the people that weren't on his side, they didn't really go in. The only person that really went in was his partner, because then
But
you
he
find
grew up with
out
him.
he
What
was
didn't they live in the same
he
house
grew up
together
with
and
him. They
stuff?
started it together. He was on the street. Then he got left out. They fired him. I'm like, you
Yeah.
got fired from an LLC. You own it. All right, fine, but you still own 25%. So basically, he should have got at least 25 mil. They cut him
Yeah.
out. He was homeless. Um, it's interesting because there was a lot of vitriol coming from him. So he was biased, just like the young lady who was his assistant. And that was interesting. She the jury didn't even give her credibility because they thought she was too emotional. And they were
Yeah.
like, they didn't even believe that she got kidnapped. They gave the impression, right, that they were like, I can't believe she got kidnapped. I mean, they basically said that.
And I
And that was
believe
interesting.
her. I believe her.
I believe that she should have been coached better by the prosecution to get on the stand. And I think that
Yeah.
he didn't play well to the jury. I believe a lot of the jurors knew who he was, but I believe just like the Indian guy was like, I didn't really know who he was. But what really I think was interesting is by at least the two jurors that we saw, and we're only seeing two, I
Yeah.
think, of 12, right? That
Yeah.
his lawyers did a hell of a job picking jurors.
Yeah.
They did a heck of a job picking jurors for the trial because they couldn't. I mean, I don't even think the result could have been any better because you definitely don't want the RICO charges.
Yeah.
And he didn't even
Um
get together. He just got basically, and I always told you, and I'll say this is like, look, if he got put up on charges for having somebody come across state lines with the intention of having sex. Now, maybe it has to be so explicit, but I'm like, if that's going to send guys to jail, then there's a whole lot of us that have invited a young lady to come on a trip to come visit us. Maybe it wasn't so explicit about what the
yeah.
expectation was, but if you let a woman know your interest and hey, come be with me and we'll go out to dinner, we'll have some fun, we'll do some drinks, and then it ends up in a relationship or relations. If that's the case, there's a lot of people that should be going to jail. So if
Yeah.
they got it on that, I'm like, they were searching for something, and they should never have built up the case on them in the first place because they knew they were going to lose, but then they're going to notch their belts and say, hey, that's one of our,
Mhm.
we win 88% of our cases. But think about it. You're going for 50 years and they get 50 months.
Yeah.
And
Which is
probably
crazy.
if there wasn't the video, and probably if there wasn't the video, he might not even got convicted. And see, that's the thing about judges in the
Yeah.
federal system or in any system. Judges can go, I know this is what the law is. I know these are what the parameters are, but I can do anything I want to do as long as they're not breaking the law. Because if you appeal something, the reason why you appeal something is I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there has to be something done wrong in the procedures of the hearing that they didn't follow for it to be an appeal. You can't just appeal because you don't agree with the decision. The judge or the attorneys had to do something that was a violation of procedural processes
Mhm.
that would say, all right, the appeal is valid. So
Mhm.
now the judge can do it. The judge can sentence any way they want. The judge can say, great, you had 1,000 people come in and give letters. You had 100. You got your family in and singing your praises. All right. But I think because you can literally say as a judge, I think because you are a violent person, which is why he didn't get out on bail, because
Mhm.
they thought he would
Yeah.
contact witnesses. And although when he contacted witnesses, at least the witnesses that they said he contacted, it wasn't like he was threatening them. He was just like, do what
No.
you feel is right, but you still
Yeah.
shouldn't contact them.
'Cause he yeah, but he
You
was
still
smart
shouldn't
in that.
contact them because they
He
tell you
like
don't contact them.
yeah, he was a master manipulator.
He was
Um he was a
amazing, but
master
he
manipulator.
preyed on people who could be manipulated.
Yeah. So I was doing some searches today, and of course, some things came up, about P Diddy, and but there was something that came up about Tupac, and I was just like, "Dag!" Like I. So, do you remember the song "Brenda's Got a Baby"?
Yeah.
Okay, so that song originated from when he was very young. He would always read. His mom would always read the newspaper to him. So he was getting ready to do the movie Juice. And in his trailer, they would always deliver him the New York Times. And he's reading this article about this 12-year-old little girl who was raped by her uncle and gave birth in the projects and put the baby in a bag and put the baby down the chute, the garbage chute. And that's where he got the to make the song from that story. Later on in life, it's crazy. Later on, they found through DNA. They found that baby. I don't know if you know that, but the baby was found because a neighbor heard the baby screaming in the trash, right? They found the baby. They didn't know who the mom was or anything like that. But later on, they found the young man, which is older now, and connected the mom and the son together and was telling them that that song was written about their story.
All right. That's
I
interesting.
thought that was
I mean, I know
amazing.
it's a true story, but
I know, but I'm
I
just
don't.
like, wow, like he's reading an article about this tragedy of this little girl being raped. And I think it was just like Brenda has a baby, but Brenda barely has a brain. Basically, she's giving sex, and it's just like this stuff. If you
Well,
read
look,
the lyrics,
Tupac
it's
was deep.
so deep. And
Tupac
I
was
was just
deep,
like,
and it's
again, it came out when I was younger. I'm like, oh, am I like you and I talk all the time about, oh, does Leilani understand what she's singing? And I'm like, I remember singing songs about white lines go away. I'm skating to this song, not thinking about it's cocaine that they're making the white lines go away. I am 12, 13 years old and I have no idea what the hell I'm singing. So what I mean, hearing these lyrics now and really listening to them, like, damn, this shit is deep as hell.
well,
Not
no,
paying attention then.
and I think the documentary was interesting because it showed how close, and I think people knew this, that Tupac and Big were close, and
Yes.
I don't think Big had anything to do with the
No.
shooting in New York. I think that maybe
No,
Tupac
ain't
knows.
no
I mean, excuse me, P Diddy
Puffy
knows.
knows. Yeah. Yeah, he knows.
But because of that,
Because he's the one that had to
he
happen.
became very distrustful, and then went over to death row because he was an East Coast guy from Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was DMV, right? So
Yep.
it's he turned on them just like anybody else did. Where he got screwed,
Mhm.
I think, was in the rape case. Don't know if he did
Yeah.
it. Don't know, yeah,
Yeah.
but where he got screwed was in that case. But then
Yeah.
Death Row came in and basically gave him the lifeline, and he went out and just pumped out all these albums like in a short period of time, and then
Yeah.
started
Very
wilding.
talented.
But he didn't deserve to. He didn't deserve to die that way, and
No.
neither did Big deserve to die that way. And that was all because I don't even blame Suge in that.
No.
I really don't. I mean, I don't even think Suge was involved in any way,
No,
shape,
I
or
don't think
form
so
on
either.
either side. But I definitely think you could see, unfortunately, the enviness and jealousy. At least that's the way the picture was painted about P. Diddy. The
P.
enviness and
Diddy.
jealousy. He always had to be
He wanted to
in
be the
front of the
star.
camera. He wanted to star instead of being more like his mentor, Clive
Yeah.
Davis and Andre Harrell, who were more in the background, even though Andre Harrell was an artist as well, but
Mhm.
more in the background. But it's interesting how a lot of people around Sean Combs are dead.
Yeah.
Andre, Kim Porter, it's like people they they get into that, whatever you want to call it,
And and
that
that's where
sphere,
I
and they
feel like
start falling
Cassie
off.
and that's where I feel like Cassie and the people that were around him were scared to go behind him because of those they knew.
I think
They
they were
knew the
scared, but
danger.
it's kind of like what you forget, and I forgot about that video and that song that they did where they basically reenacted their lives of fighting and running and throwing things and then having sex and all this stuff. And I'm like, you just like you knew he was going to be mad if you started messing around with Kid Cudi. You knew that
Mhm.
was going to enrage him. You knew what the reaction was going to be. You did it anyway, and you involved somebody else who, rightfully so, she was traumatized by it. If all those things happened to her, rightfully so. Just like the other young lady who earlier, probably one of the first ones,
Mhm.
and then she decided to come because she knew that she had backing because other people had come forward. And let me say, look, victims, it's hard to come forward. Just like it's hard for men to come forward when they've been sexually abused by men or even by women. It's hard for
Mhm.
people to come forward when they've been marginalized and humiliated.
Yeah. Of
These
course.
victims don't deserve. It's no different than the Epstein victims, right?
Absolutely. Mhm.
Um, and it's a shame. And that's really, it's kind of like all you can say because it's like they sound very, very credible. And you know why they didn't come forward at the time because they didn't feel like that they had a voice and they felt like that they would be squashed. And then you see all these other things that happen around them and they
Mhm.
go, it's not, it's not worth it. Um,
Also, but he used that, and he put himself in such a powerful position where he was able to manipulate and control the people that were surrounding him. So again, if you're an artist and you're trying to make it, and you're going to keep doing whatever you need necessary to get to that point in life, because that's really what the industry is about. And I'm not saying that this is all these people are doing what P. Diddy's doing. What I'm saying to you is that the struggle to be seen and to be heard in the
Look,
industry.
we know from the Matt Lauers to the Epsteins to the Bill Clintons to the we could keep on going.
Yeah,
And to the casting couches to all those things. And unfortunately, women have suffered a lot of the brunt of that, but so have men. I mean,
yeah,
it's not only heterosexual; it happens on homosexual side as well. And it's a shame. I think the thing that was it was fascinating and shameful and just terrible to hear is like when Aubrey Day shares a story that the young lady came forward. It's like, I know I walked into this room. I
yeah.
know I saw you drugged up. I know I
Hmm.
saw two people uh, victimizing you. I know I saw them abusing you, and I know who they were. I will testify for you. And she's like, one, I don't remember it, like literally.
Yeah,
And we know that happens, right? We know that happens with victims when you have trauma, that some can compartmentalize it, put it away in their brain, and they don't want to bring that back up. And then her saying she doesn't even want to know if it was even true. As far as she knows, she has no recollection of it. Now,
right.
do we know that? And is it the interesting thing that the only person who's got paid out of this is Cassie?
Yeah,
And I don't even know if she was the first, but she was one of the first. But she got paid because she had receipts. You know, she had
yeah,
receipts.
yeah. Hmm. She
And
had, you
I think he thought this probably was just going to go away
yeah.
if he settled with her.
I mean, he
But my
looks
thing is, she was
sick.
probably. I can't. I shouldn't say this because I ain't trying to get. I'm not trying to get. I'm not. I'm not trying to get stoned or get trolled. But there, just by the messages and the evidence, and I know there's a trauma, and I know there's trauma involved because you get brainwashed or you get
Hmm.
psychologically screwed. That she was somewhat complicit, and I think that's what the jurors saw too. They were like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say, oh, she could have always walked away because I've heard many times about that where victims just you can say that, but you're not in that situation where
yeah.
you can't. But it was almost like when you saw the video and you know how he took her stuff and then walked back, and she had like all that time where she could have ran down the steps
Hmm.
to really get away. And then I just wonder, like, what was it that finally said to her in her mind, like, I can walk away, I can do this,
Yeah.
because he still wanted to be with her
I
after she
think
left.
that she just got to the point, first of all, I this is sad to say. I think that Cassie would have stayed if he would have married her and gave her a baby and dealt with the abuse because of the lifestyle that she was living. But because she knew that he was not going to give her a baby and was not going to marry her, she didn't want to put up with the abuse anymore.
Yeah,
I
that's deep.
that's what I truly believe.
That's
I
deep.
truly,
And
truly believe that.
it's
Now,
interesting because well, it
I'm
goes
not
both
saying
ways.
to you, I'm not saying to you that eventually after being married and having his children that she would not have left, but she was trying so hard to please him, to be that main woman, that wife to him and the mother of his child or children, that she was willing to take the abuse from him. And then when she realized, look, this man is not going to give me any of these things. So I'm going to leave. And
Yeah,
again,
and
like I
look,
said,
that lifestyle's not what they think it is. I mean, look, there have been articles over the last week about Hugh Hefner, and I'm like, Dad, we still talking about Hugh? Y'all hating on Hugh after he's gone? And the women who were there, the Playgirls or the Playboys, whatever they called them, the Playboy bunnies that were there, talking about how rudimentary and just how mechanical all the sex was and everything was the same. And I'm like, but y'all talking about that man now, and you know, and men have these fantasies, right? It's like, well, if I'm not going to be married and it's going to be like that, then I'll have a bunch of women at my house and they'll be able to stay up and I'll be like Hugh Hefner. And they were like, oh, it wasn't really all that. It was like it was a job and it was really this and the place was like this. And I'm like, but y'all stayed there. Because
Yeah.
I know Hugh wasn't, head wasn't like gun beating you, with the butt of a gun or all these other things. You like that lifestyle. You like the parties, but
Yeah.
then you gonna talk about them afterwards. Like you had to be there. But it's
Right.
like
No, they had choices. Yeah.
they had choices to be there. And then, they're talking about it was disgusting and some of the sex acts that they hated.
I'm
And I'm like,
sure.
well, why? Well, I'm sure, but you
But
were there
like you
for you were
said,
there for a reason.
yes, because it's the fame, it's the money, it's whatever was coming with that. Just like I said to you, when you have a young woman that is with an old man, trust me, she's there for the money. And I'm telling you right now, y- I'm not saying to you that, all right, for you, for an example, you're my husband. You're 60 years old. I think you are handsome. You are very sexy to me. I look at you and I just be like, damn, my baby is fine. Okay. Do I think that other women look at you like that? Absolutely. Do I think young girls look at you like that? I'm going to tell you that they're looking at you like he's an older man. Now, if you're
Well,
whining and dining them and
just
doing
for
all
the
the things
audience,
that you
I don't think any of that, but I appreciate the
Oh,
compliment. But I
stop.
don't think that at all.
What I'm saying to you is like, listen, do I think that a 20-year-old is looking at you like, damn, he's fine? Or do I say, like, sexually? No. Do I think that they're looking at like, oh, he's maybe a nice looking older man? If that, I'm just telling you, going based on where my thoughts were when I was young, I wasn't looking at an older man. And I didn't care. And again, I was in situations where I was around older men and I still, no, no, sorry, no, no, not at all.
But just like so, there's
So
been accusations of rape and assault, threats of revenge porn, widespread use of drugs, which I can imagine. And the most shocking accusation was his engagement in bestiality. He had sex. Supposedly, he had sex with dogs. I'm
with
like,
animals?
whoa, where's
Who?
this? Hugh. They're trying to say
Oh,
Hugh had sex with dogs, and I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, where does this all come from? It's like,
yeah, I'm
why
sure.
did y'all talk about that when he was alive? I mean, that kind
Yeah.
of there's lines to be crossed. That's a
Well, you know what? Listen,
that's
there's
a
going to be
that's a
things being talked about when we're dead, and you're going to be like, damn, why did y'all bring that up when we were alive? Why are you bringing that up now that they're
the
dead?
Playboy's like, whoa. Playboy's like, yeah, we don't have an affiliation with the Hefner family anymore. We trust and validate the women's stories, and we strongly support individuals who have come forward to share their experiences. And they believe in sex positivity at its core when it's safe, secure, and accountable. And those things are
okay,
paramount. But I'm like, whoa, they came hard.
it came hard.
I'm like, they I'm like, Hugh, bestiality, and they all were down with that. So what part did y'all play in that? That's the interesting. They didn't say that. It's like, what part did y'all play in that? But
They
y'all were
held the
happy,
animal
smiling,
for
and sitting on his lap. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
him.
But then you're gonna come and talk about the man when he's in his grave. It's like, do it when he's alive, so he can at least answer to it.
Yeah.
That's still supposed to be our system. You have a chance to face your accusers.
Hmm.
Getting back to the going back to the Diddy thing, and that was interesting. I thought that was a good part of the documentary to have jurors there um,
Hmm.
to talk about what they saw, and also tell that, hey, a lot of the things that you thought were happening in the courtroom wasn't happening.
Hmm.
That did. So you saw
Yeah.
that there were forces there, PR for Diddy, but you saw there was forces there that were against him,
Yeah.
saying negative things too, like he was making eye contact and doing all this stuff, and they were like,
Yeah.
we can't look at
Hmm.
him. They were kicking us out. It's like that. That never happened. So that sensationalism of the trial was interesting, but it's just interesting because they like, look, the government. That's the fail safe um, charge. It's like RICO. It's like they try to get. It's like especially entertainers that just happen to be of color. They try to get
Yeah.
on the RICO if they cross state lines. It usually doesn't work. It usually doesn't work, and they get them on some lesser charge if at any. But no, I just think the Hugh Hefner thing. I'm like, y'all coming at Hugh. Like, why didn't y'all talk about him when it's like they always talk about the white boys when they dead. And they talk about the black guys when they're alive. They try to they got Bill when he was alive. They got R. Kelly when he was alive. They got Puff
Right.
Diddy when he was alive. And I'm not saying
Well,
that they didn't do anything wrong. I'm just saying,
mhm.
well, let's have equal opportunity prosecution. Let's go after these
Yeah.
cats when they're alive. You could say they went after Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, but he walked away from that. Hugh,
Well, they're
they
trying to go
let
after
get
Trump
off.
and he's still alive. Let's get him, let's take
Yeah,
him down
Trump,
before
they
he's
but
gone.
yeah, they did, but I guess they figure we can't go after these white boys when they're alive and they're rich because they get off. So we have to wait till we talk about them when they're dead. But it's like, yeah. So yeah, we can't sit back. We got our ones too on our side. So we'll claim R. Kelly and we'll claim Diddy and we'll claim Bill Cosby as long as y'all claim Epstein and Hugh and a couple other ones over there. But that's the thing. So I didn't know. It's funny because the heist, they broke into the Louvre. I think they
Hmm.
caught the guy, and I don't think they've
Did
gotten the
they?
jewelry back. But yeah, they got like 4 or 5 of them. They're pretty
Okay.
convinced that those are the people.
Hmm.
But also, what they found last week in New Zealand, the police captured somebody who had stolen a Fabergé egg. And I didn't know. I thought there was just like the Fabergé egg. I didn't know like many different Fabergé eggs. There's actually like a Fabergé egg pendant. But the
Hmm.
interesting thing about this pendant and how they found this pendant was the man was, excuse me, accused of swallowing the pendant.
Mm.
So they had to get it out. The man to prove that he had the pendant, and of course, there's only a couple ways to get it out, and they ended
Yeah.
up getting it out because the thief or the accused thief
Hmm.
stole the Fabergé egg and swallowed the Fabergé egg, and it was the egg that was inspired by the I'm sure you know this, the 1983 James Bond movie Octopussy.
Yes. No, I
I'm
didn't know
sure
that.
you know.
I did. I
So,
didn't know
yeah,
that.
it was worth like $19,000. It's about the size of your thumb down to the first line. It's about the
Okay. And
size
they
of
swallowed
like,
it.
see, they swallow it and with the chain. The chain is long. It's a pendant. It's a necklace,
Okay.
but it's big. It's about it's like a little quail egg size.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, wow, they really wanted to get rid of this. They wanted to really steal that egg to swallow it because that's not an easy thing to swallow. But
Well,
I'm like, how did they figure out that
it's
the person had the egg?
yeah.
They must
And just
have. They
imagine if
must.
that got stuck in their esophagus and choked to death and
Oh well,
died
then
because they
they
were
would
being
have
a
they
thief.
they would have died. But they
Yeah.
but they went through a lot. Also, do you know
Nope.
what is the color of the year?
Um,
Better Homes and Garden
I'm gonna
announced
say
the color of
I'm going
2026. Excuse me, 20 because they announced it before the year starts. So the 2026 color of the year is what?
I'm going to say it's going to be
You want me to give you a hint?
green.
It's not green. It's
Okay.
a refreshing neutral hue that will give any room in your home the uplift it needs.
Okay. So a neutral hue. I'm gonna tell you it's probably gonna be a tan or a brown. I don't
It
know.
is white. Pantone 11 4201 Cloud Dancer
Hmm.
is an expansive, well balanced shade of white. It is quite a nice shade of white. It's not like white, like too bright.
Okay.
It's meant to give a place a reset. Walls painted in this lofty white, signifying a
Okay.
room that's brimming with endless design possibilities.
Okay. I'm good with a white room and then accent with different colors.
It's
Mhm.
yeah, it's a white. It's an interesting white. It's not like
It's not like
it's
a
it's it's a cloudy
extreme
white.
white. Okay.
Well,
It's probably the
uh,
white. It's probably the white that I just painted the salon in New Jersey. That's probably the white it is. I'm sure.
okay, all right. All right. I'm sure. I'm
Not
sure it's
stark white.
probably
It's very
not
close.
stark
I'm
white.
sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Not you think?
So is it like it? Is it off white? Like what is it, Jamie?
No, it's like a white. I mean, I don't think you can tell it from white to white. I mean, you would be like, okay, most people would just look by and go, oh, it's white. It's not off enough
So
to
what
be
they
off
did.
white, and
Mhm.
it's not white enough to be like bright white. It's like somewhere in
Okay.
the
Yeah,
middle.
that's what I did at the
Somewhere in the
salon. That's
middle.
what I just had. See, I was up to the trends and didn't even know it. Um, but it's just one of those things that they just kind of create a color and say, okay, now it's 11A0, and this
Well,
is
wait a minute.
cloud
Wait a minute.
cloud of the day.
As we found
What?
out in Devil Wears Prada,
What?
don't don't sleep on how important it is of the color and then where it comes from and then how it trickles down to everybody. So the importance of picking
Yes.
a color and what that means to
Mhm.
the industry is
So,
material.
okay, yeah, this is true. So I'm gonna tell you that what's the color called? Cloud what?
Pantone. Pantone.
Pantone. Pantone cloud?
Pantone. Wait a minute. It's called Pantone uh Cloud Dancer.
Cloud
Exciting.
dancer.
An exciting
Okay,
one.
so now this new color is going to be in all the magazines, and everybody is
Yep.
going to, just like
Yep.
when there was gray and there was the,
Yeah.
the creams, and so
Yeah.
now when you walk into my house, and they're going to be like, "Oh, I like the color of your walls," and it's Cloud Dancer,
Is that
because
Cloud Dancer?
that's
Even if it isn't. Oh,
give
it's
me
Cloud
right. Because how are you going to have a swatch and know that that's not the color of the wall? Yeah. So
Dancer.
yeah, come on. Anyway,
It's it's
that's
Cloud Dancer.
Cloud Dancer. So they're moving away from the darker colors of the grays and the muted browns. They're going with more of a light white and bright, which is always nice.
So on the opposite side of that is what Trump is doing
S-
to people
On
of
the
color.
darker side,
On the opposite is what this whole Somalian thing. Now, even the Republicans in Somalia have come out and said, look, Somalians are the fabric. They're woven into
mhm,
the fabric of this community. Why are you messing with them? Because there may be some that have been in some scandals, but last time I looked, there's every person of color who has been in some scandals, probably
mhm,
in every city. But he is coming. But then if you didn't think he was coming for brown people and people of color, then all you needed to do was look at how this was like low key, but if
what?
you read into it, you were like, "What?"
I didn't read it.
So, well,
Share.
he did the whole national parks thing where he's charging to get into national parks.
Mhm.
So, you used to be able to get in free to the national park on Juneteenth. Not anymore. He's like, no, you can't get into the national parks free on Juneteenth. They scratched that. Now you're gonna get into national parks on Flag Day. But Flag Day happens to be also, guess whose birthday?
His birthday.
His birthday. He's
Of
trying to
course.
make his birthday a national holiday, and you can get into the
Give
national
me
park. Now it's a
a
small slight.
fucking break. That's what I'm going to
It's a
curse today.
small slight, but yet a big slight. It's like okay, like why you any other day, President's Day, any other day. So you went after Juneteenth.
You know, I Danielle and I were texting today, and I said, "Well, if you haven't seen the Diddy episode, I want you to." She says, "Oh my God, he's the worst." I said, "He's so evil. It's disgusting." And I said, she says, "You know what? Somebody's going to kill him." I said, "Danielle, I don't wish death on anyone, but him and Donald Trump can both go to hell. They
No,
can both
look,
go to hell. Evil people."
I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in
I don't
wishing
believe in
people
violence either.
bad.
I said
I
to
don't
you,
think
but
we
they both
should.
can go to hell.
Well, that would be wishing them somewhat. Oh, and he moved her
No.
off of Martin Luther King. He moved it off of Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth Day. You could get into the national parks for free. He said,
Mhm.
"Nah, but you can do it for Flag Day, and that happens to be my birthday."
Oh my God.
So he's literally trying to get his birthday as a national holiday. Then he goes off. He actually went off on a reporter the other day. I
Yeah.
forgot who the young lady is who's one of the main correspondents at CNN. And he called her names and stuff. I'm like, what is the deal? And it's like it's getting to the point where it's so normalized that we just go, okay. But it's like it's almost like he's the crazy old man on the street that yells at you when you walk by for no reason.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
you're why are you so disrespectful to females? I just
Yeah,
don't
he's
I just
he's a
don't
piece of
understand
shit.
it.
Sorry.
I just don't I just don't understand it. What is the purpose of um calling
And
reporters names?
why you're a president, why are you being disrespectful? Like, show some class. Like, seriously. Like,
And
it's
again, I
just
don't that is all about how he did it and what he did, of course. Um, but at the same time, it's like it's a shame because everything he doesn't do is bad. Not
I
everything. I mean, he's got some conceptually, there's some pretty good things.
oh,
Once
okay.
in a blue moon. I mean, like, I believe that, yeah, we've been letting Europe off the hook for a long time. We give a lot of
Mhm.
money to other countries. We do need to stop the proliferation of drugs coming into this country. We do need to make it. I don't know. I don't think we need to make it harder for people to get citizenship. I think we need to enforce what we currently have better.
Okay.
People just can't come in because there are many ways to get in and many ways to be legal, and
Mhm.
we just haven't enforced that well. It's kind of like you can have good laws, but they're
Right.
only as good as
Did
the
you
police and the government and the structure that enforces them, or they don't mean anything. So
I
I think
agree.
those again, it's not what it is, it's
Mhm.
how it's being done. And I'm not saying it was done perfect under Joe. I'm not saying it was done perfect under Obama or Bush or anybody. Like there's always going to be room for major improvement, minor improvement, but it's like how you're getting it done
Mhm.
is really just become so ugly. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, people, it's America, so people are going to ask you about questions about controversy or Epstein. They're going to ask you about your ballroom that you're trying to build that doesn't make sense to some. Although many presidents before have made changes to the White House, and he has that executive right to be able to do that. But again, it's how you're doing it and how you're going
Yeah.
about it. It just makes it so hard to take. There's no reason to call women, piggy or stupid or all these other things. Because at the end of the day, there's still people who are looking up to you and looking and saying, this is the way Americans act. Wow.
Yeah.
Not putting us in the not putting us in the best light. So it's disappointing. Um, but at the same time, I go, but it's like, why are you coming after you're just like arbitrarily you're coming after people of color, but then you let the South Africans in that are
Mhm.
white because you
Yeah.
feel like that they're being
Mhm.
ostracized and they're being treated poorly in South Africa.
Yeah.
But let's handle what's going on. Let's handle what's going on here,
Yeah. Let's do
right?
that.
Right. And just because you come from a country like Haiti or you come from a country that's war torn doesn't mean that you're garbage or
Right.
you're not you're not worth anything.
Right.
That's why they came here to try to be better and try to
Mhm.
help make this country better as that's how this country got better. I mean, we say this over and over
Mhm.
again.
Yeah.
This is an old slogan. It's like that's who
Just
we
like
are. We were
his wife Melania, right? And she come from somewhere else?
or just like Ivanka,
I
or just like his
Ivanka.
parents. It's
Right.
just like his parents, right?
Right.
We all, unless we're endogenous, we came from endogenous background. We all
Exactly.
are at the end of the day, we weren't we weren't first here. We definitely weren't.
Exactly.
And then again, we may have been in some other areas. Just
Yeah.
like found out that we were in the UK well before the Caucasian people
Mhm.
got to. So it's just interesting that why is this that much divisive? But I'll tell you, Europe better watch out because
Yeah.
it's interesting because there's something to be said about that because you could. go back and say, when we were doing World War I and World War II, we were fighting against y'all. Well, some of y'all,
Yeah. Yeah.
Italy, Germany,
Mm-hmm.
um, Japan, even though Japan's not part of Europe, of course.
Right.
And China we were down with China. We were down with
Mm.
Russia. They were
Yeah.
our ally, right? Until, it starts to change. Why? Most likely just because of strategic strongholds on either energy or ways of passage or commerce. But think about it. It's like, I always think like, all right, Russia, I know they got nuclear weapons,
Mm-hmm.
but they got the GDP of less than Texas. They can't, I mean, their economy can't compete.
Yeah.
Now what they're doing to the Ukraine, I mean, I mean, it's just
It's
the
just
bravado of you're negotiating a peace treaty, but then you're still bombing people. You're still bombing the people that you're sitting across the table from, like, hey, we want to negotiate peace, but I'm about to drop all these bombs on you while we're sitting here talking, having tea, or
it's
talking about
sad.
negotiations. It's like, yeah.
It's sad.
Um,
It's
but then I
it's
get it.
sad.
I mean, if I'm just looking at finances, I go, we've given a lot of money to these efforts and
Yeah.
the United Nations and all that stuff. And I think it could have been, again, not what he's saying, but how he's going about it. There's probably a diplomacy that could have been better, that it could have gotten. Not, I'm not talking about the Ukraine USSR thing. I'm just talking about the relationship and how we contribute to United Nations and all the money we've given and how much we pay in the bill versus others. But at the same time, we pay that bill because we want to be the chief. We want to
Yeah.
be the police chief of the
Mm-hmm.
world. So we've taken that upon us, and I think taking it upon us proudly because that's ingrained in us. But it's ingrained in us a lot because we got a lot of people from a lot of places.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of roots in a lot of countries that we have interest in because people are here. So
Yeah.
it's that interesting. It's just very interesting that yeah, we should be like that. We've grown to that. But at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong saying, "Hey, we want we think you guys are good now. We think that you can
You
put in
on
a
your
little bit
own
more." And I don't
or
want to say
put
on
up?
your own. Never. I don't
Oh.
think we should. I don't know. I don't think we should ever leave NATO or leave, you know,
Okay.
United Nations. I don't know that. But
Okay.
you see now they're like, I may need to up my arms system because I don't want Russia. I don't want China thinking they could just come in and plow us over. And that stuff that's going on in the Asian Pacific with Taiwan and
Mm-hmm.
Japan and China, and Japan was just saying the other day that they had a Chinese jet fighter lock in
Yeah.
on a Japan jet fighter. I'm like, yeah, but that the funny thing is we hear about that, but it's probably happened many more
Many.
times
Yeah.
than we
Yeah.
know of.
Mm-hmm.
But because the media is out there, just like this whole now, it's crazy what they're doing with the Venezuelan stuff. I was like, I wish I knew. I wish we really knew what the real deal was. I think we're
Yeah.
getting the surface stuff. It's like, what really? Why are we? I mean, like I said, we should stop the proliferation of drugs coming in. That's
Yeah.
one way. That's one way to do it. I don't know if it's the moral and right way to do it. You could say, well, we've taken the moral high road long enough and it still come in. So then we have to make people, there
But
has to be consequences.
yeah, but the thing is that what he's doing, he's not even 100% sure that the vessels that he's blowing up are carrying drugs.
We don't know that. We know that that's what people are saying because it's him.
Okay.
But let's go back to, and I don't want to say I'm defending anything. I just say I'm defending our military because they have to
Okay.
follow orders and they have to
Yes, of
follow
course.
orders based on intelligence. You can say back in the day when Obama was in office, it's like every other week you were hearing like the number one or number two terrorist got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody questioned that,
Right.
right? Because they were on the terrorist list. Well, they've determined that Venezuela is a terrorist organization, so now they're going after it that way too. I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying
Okay.
it's how they do it, but nobody had a problem with it for a lot of different reasons, right? 9/11, all those other things. Um, but Bush, Obama, Joe, knocking them off. Like, You would hear about it every month. Like, yep, got number one. Like nobody, I guarantee you, nobody over there wanted to be number one or two on that list, on that
Right.
top 10 list, because they were gone shortly after.
Yeah.
So if you walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, if we could do something to stop the amount of fentanyl, cocaine, and all these drugs coming in, because we do consume 80 to 85% of those drugs worldwide in the United States,"
Mm-hmm.
most people on the street would be like, "Yes, that's bad." Now, depending on how good the intel is, and depending on now, I don't think it's right to say all the fentanyl or all the whatever comes from this country, and maybe they know more than we know. They should, because they're in intelligence and they get in those meetings, and we're never going to know that. And I think that's where we need to be careful, because there is that national security thing, and we trust these people to we vote our conscience and trust these people to be able to handle these situations. And some things the general public doesn't need to know until later.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to know till later. So yeah, that's my thoughts. It's like, leave the Somalians alone. It's like, just go after people. Have you usually go after them? If that's the case, that we could come to DC, and he was talking about he's going to drain the swamp. That swamp, that water's as high as it's ever been in the swamp. So we haven't drained, we haven't drained, we haven't drained anything. But let me tell you something that I was concerned about,
Okay.
that I heard. It's now becoming a thing. Unfortunately, it's called scromating or scromating, because it's like,
Scromming.
yes, it's like vomiting, but it's scromating because it's this bizarre condition linked to chronic marijuana use, and it's on the rise. So basically, I think it's an allergic reaction. Some people just have allergic reaction, but it's basically, people are like throwing up incessantly, writhing in pain, holding their stomach, complaining of really bad abdominal pain and nausea. And the only thing that subsides is that if they get in and take a scalding hot shower or scalding hot bath.
Okay, and this is brought on from smoking.
Weed is the habitual marijuana
Oh.
use.
Mm.
Now, you know me. I'm all I like indica, I like sativa. I would not call myself a chronic user. But then you
No.
read that and you go, now they're thinking, because back in the day, before marijuana became legal, before cannabis became legal, it was only like
Mm-hmm.
3, 4, 5%. But now, people don't even want to buy weed unless it's 20, 25%. And if you
Mm-hmm.
smoke it, it's kind of like, you're like, yeah, I probably need even a little bit more than that, just to get over the feeling you're going to feel. But people who habitually smoke all the
So,
time are getting these
okay.
scromating.
So if they I can't even say the word, habitually smoke, and
Right.
this happens to them, if they stop, will they still have those?
Supposedly. But it's
So it
not
stayed.
entirely clear why it happens. But you
But
can
what I'm
say
saying that
stop. But
once you
some people
develop
take them for
this,
medical conditions. Some people take now. They say that the reason why the hot showers and the scalding baths work is because it basically takes one pain point away and focuses your nerves on another.
hmm,
So they get
yeah,
off
I don't
of
know if I
the
want to be burning.
nerves. Yeah, they get off whatever nerves that weed affects. It
Uh-huh.
changes the attention to the nerves that hot affects or
Yeah, no, I don't.
impacts, and then it gets them
Yeah,
off
that's
of that so they
crazy.
feel better.
Okay.
But it's on the rise because
Okay.
more
So
people are smoking.
maybe it's something in the product.
Well, it's all over, so it's not just like in a
It's
it's
all
not
over
just in a
what?
focused area of the country. It's all over the country. This is
So
not a
is it all
country,
over
but
the
all over the
country for the
world.
people that
No, it's
grow
all
their
over the
own?
world. It's all over the world. No, this is just weed. This is like, because weed. I mean, weed. It's just like purveyors of vegetables and all that stuff. I mean, these are, you know, I don't think weed in its natural state, cannabis in natural state, was ever 15 to 20%. These are like hybrids, and and putting things together and making these mutations of strains that get the maximum out of the THC and the cannabinoids that are in there, and the whole entourage effect of getting high. Because it's not
Mm-hmm.
just THC. That's the other thing. Just because something has a THC level of let's say high 20s, high 30s, people buy it and they think it's like alcohol percentage level, how much alcohol percentage of alcohol is it.
Gotcha.
It's not the same with weed. It's really
Okay.
about the entourage of all the cannabinoids and all the things that are in there that really make you high or not high, or make it medicinal or not medicinal. So we don't even really understand marijuana and how it works, because THC is a FDA approved medication as well. You can get THC. You can have a doctor
Mm-hmm.
write you a prescription. It's generic. If you can take it by
Oh,
pill.
I didn't know that.
So and it's been that yeah, it's generic, which means it's been out for tens of years
Mm-hmm.
as a medical, excuse me, as a medicine. So it's not, and it's been used for pain and other things, mostly for nausea and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting that it's causing all these things in people, but it's probably because of the um the constant use and the higher concentration of the um, cannabinoids that have supposedly efficaciousness against these things. So it's, if I can pronounce it, because THC is tetrahydrocannabinol.
Okay.
In other words, THC.
Okay.
That's the most psychoactive compound. So all these compounds, all these cannabinoids in there, and there's many different ones, make this
Mm-hmm.
entourage effect, right? And that's what really gets you to wherever you want to get to in your highness,
Okay.
or how you want to feel, or in pain management. So they're trying to figure that out right now, but it's supposed to be a thing
Mm-hmm.
now. And the only way people have figured out how to combat it is to jump in a scalding hot shower or a very hot tub of water, which is
Yeah.
which is
That can't be safe.
well, it's either you're feeling the pain from the inside. I guess you're feeling pain, but it subsides the pain from the outside. But it's supposed to happen
But when you say
pretty quickly.
scolding, I'm like, okay,
I mean,
I
hot enough
mean,
where you're like, God dang, it's hot. I got that. Like you don't want to get in there,
like
but
putting your
that's what.
toe in and
But
you're
when
like,
you're
damn, I can't put my foot in.
when you're in the fetal position and you're throwing up and you're gagging and it won't stop and you're convulsing and then that makes it go away, then you probably would. You
I'll deal with the
probably
stomach. I don't want to burn.
you probably would do that with no problem. And we say that because we
Mhm.
don't know what they're going through. So
Right.
yeah. So I'm still so we're involved. Some people may know we're involved in the weight loss
In the what?
industry
Yes.
with tirzepatide and semaglutide, and these articles keep on coming out, like trying to demonize both of the compounds. And it's like, finally, somebody comes out and tells the truth. Doctors saying people taking Ozempic are losing muscle mass and are freaking them out. But it's not that they're losing muscle mass, is that they've taken it and they don't change anything that they've done. So
Exactly.
they're not working out. They're not doing any weightlifting or resistance training. So yeah, you're going to lose muscle mass because you're taking less calories.
Right.
So it's not even going to maintain the muscle mass that you have because you're
They
not
have.
building any muscle. It's
Yep.
not the drug. It's not the drug.
It's
Doctor
you.
said it very yeah, doctor said it very well. It's like putting a band-aid, on
Mm-hmm.
a wound. It's not going to is I mean it's a band-aid. It's just going
Yeah.
to help for that time, but it's not going to
Right.
correct the
I
problem.
tell all the
It's going to
patients to make sure that they are exercising daily and eating protein, because one thing they don't want to do is lose their muscle mass. Their muscle will protect their bones.
well,
And
the other thing is they lose energy, but it's like, yeah, you're losing
yes,
energy because you're
and I have so
taking less
it's crazy.
calories.
We have a patient and she's like, "Oh, I'm just like getting 800 calories in a day and I don't have any energy." And I'm like, "Well, how would you? You are not taking in enough calories to even maintain a certain energy level." I'm like, "You have to be," and again, I'm not telling you if you don't have an appetite, I understand that, but when you are eating, if you're getting enough protein in, you we'll have, again, I believe in carbohydrates for energy. I believe in, you should have a certain amount of fats. All those things play a part in your body's well-being, I believe, right? I think we need fats. I think we need carbohydrates. I think we need protein. And these are the things that I share with them. And it's just, and then so she comes back the next month and she's like, "Oh my God, like it's just made such a big difference. I have so much more energy." And I'm like, "Listen, I'm not telling you to go in and take 2,500 calories, but taking enough calories where you're not feeling lethargic."
But then see now, then they go the other way and they start to do the micro dosing, and the micro dosing just plays into the wrong message, because the message should be nutrition and diet and
Hmm.
exercise. Because if you exercise, it's like an engine. You exercise, the engine's going to be like, I need gas. I need gas to go. I'm going to run out. So you
Yeah.
feed it
Yes.
because you're burning that, but at the same time, while you're building the muscle, you'll also
Yeah.
help yourself lose the weight
Right.
and not have
Absolutely.
to worry
Because it's
and
burning the
not have to
fat.
worry about it, right? So if and then you can back off
Yes.
because you changed your lifestyle. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to do that, then yeah, you need to keep on taking. You need to take it, and then you're going to deal with the consequences. But look, the drug, the compound is not causing that. The
Right.
compound's actually doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Not to mention all the benefits of cardiovascular health and all the other things that it possibly can do. The conversation should be about, it's still about diet and exercise, because that's what you couldn't do before,
Right.
or you were not
You would.
predisposed to do, or maybe your genetics weren't predisposed to do. But it still
Mm-hmm.
gets back to diet and exercise and making sure you get the proper amount of protein and nutrition. And that's probably more important if you're on a GLP-1, because you will eat less. So you have to
Yeah.
make sure that your meals are even more focused on nutrition, so you can get the nutrients you need. And that was redundant. You get the nutrients you need. So that does happen, just like the hair loss. The hair loss happens because you're not giving your hair the nutrition that it needs. So that's why you didn't lose your hair because you went on GLP-1. You lost your hair because you lost weight. You lost
All the
weight because the
nutrients.
calories
Mm-hmm.
aren't there. Then you lost weight because of the
Absolutely.
calories, and your hair because you weren't giving yourself the replacement nutrition that you needed,
Mm-hmm.
not the calories, but the nutrition that you needed.
Nutrition.
Because
Uh-huh.
especially if you're a person who's just eating the same, because you can lose a lot of weight on GLP-1 by eating the same stuff you were eating before, just less of it,
Yeah.
because it's calories, right? It's
Yeah.
simple.
Mm.
Calories in,
Calories in,
calories out. You take
calories
less
out.
calories in that you take less calories in than what, if you're burning off, how am I saying this? You burn off more calories than you take in, right? So
Yeah.
you're going in a caloric deficiency as
That's
far as
yep.
you know it. And then with
Mm-hmm.
that caloric deficiency, you really need to focus on, in that smaller amount of food I'm eating, I need to make sure it's nutrient rich,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so you can be able to make up for that loss. So don't give my GLP-1s a bad name. They're doing
Yep.
what they're supposed to be doing, as well as doing a host of greater things.
No.
Don't, and we're not gonna be able to get away from it, because they'll go generic, what, in about 4 or 5 years, and there'll be pills out eventually, all this other stuff. So the food industry is interesting, because they're the ones who are going to have to make the adjustment, because they're going to have to start coming out with more nutrient rich foods that aren't as ultra processed.
Uh-huh.
But of course, the problem with that is it exacerbates the problem of, it's very easy to be healthier if you have the resources to be healthier.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the
No,
resources to be
absolutely.
healthier, which is the reason why
Absolutely.
ultra processed food became a thing, is because it was
Yeah.
cheaper to feed
Cheaper.
people, but it
Mm-hmm.
also makes people sicker.
It
It cuts
causes
down
more
their
health
expectancy of
issues.
life.
Yeah.
So it actually does the opposite. So we're gonna have a problem. I mean, whoever in the food industry figures that one out is gonna
Yep.
be doing a very good
But while
thing.
while we're talking about Fit and Trim, our weight loss clinic, follow me on Fit and Trim Weight Loss Clinic on Instagram and social and Facebook. Keep up with that as well. We are sponsored by Fit and Trim Weight Loss Clinic in North Andover, Massachusetts. Um, Phone number is 781-977-7546, and our website is www.fat-rx.com.
That's right. 781-977 SLIM, because
Hmm.
that's what you'll get if that's what you want when you come to Fit and Trim Weight Loss Center in North Andover. That's it. You don't have to come in. You can all call. You can go online. We could send it to you,
Yep.
but we'll help you along the whole journey. There's somebody there always to talk to you. Parting
And we
thoughts. What are your
parting
parting thoughts
thoughts.
for
My
today?
parting
Parting thoughts.
thoughts are, at the end of the day, whether you're here to listen to our podcast because we're raising awareness about something or just having a conversation, I just remember every little action counts. And I just want to say thanks for listening, and let's keep learning and staying curious.
Well, yes, and I will say that you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
Love it. That's
Yeah,
great, honey.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I looked it up and just read it, and I liked it, so I so I believed it, and I said it. But that's what it is.
Okay.
You got to get up. You got to get up early to rise over a cock, because that's why we're cock risers. See, cock risers. You got to get up pretty
Cock
early.
rise of the show. Real
You
early.
got to get
Real
up
early.
pretty early to be the cock, because they're cockadoodling. We cockadoodling here. So look, thank you for being with us. Season 1, episode 19. We'll see you next time.